Good morning, Nigeria. It's Friday, the 22nd of August, 2025. Thank God it's Friday, and you are tuned in to Daybreak Live Extra on Dominion Television. I am Samson Balogun.
And I'm Luayemi Adelako. It's the end of the week, and we're here to bring you the stories that matter, the voices that count, and the insight that keep you ahead of the curve.
All right, we begin this morning with tension brewing in the education sector. Students at UNIZIK were sent out of campus for defying the institution's signing out ban. Of course, it's a story that cuts deep into realities of students' rights, institutional authority, and the fragile balance between discipline and dignity in our universities.
Indeed, and we'll be asking the bigger questions. Where does discipline end, and where does abuse of power begin? Expect reactions and perspectives as this issue continues to stir heated debate. Coming up shortly, we'll bring you the Daybreak News, your early morning digest of the top stories shaping Nigeria and beyond. After that, we'll turn to the newspaper headlines and analysis, breaking down what the press is saying, and more importantly, what it means.
All right, and later on, our big story takes a refreshing turn. More than a beauty, Queen, Queen Victoria Babajide, or as a model, podcaster, and a media personality, will be joining us on the show. Of course, Oluwapelumi Victoria Babajide, popularly known as Queen Victoria. Beyond the crown and the runway, she's carving a path as a podcaster and media voice, using a platform to champion self-care, mental wellness, and lifestyle empowerment.
It's going to be a conversation that challenges stereotypes and expands what it means to be a beauty queen in today's Nigeria. And before we wrap up, we take you through Trend Watch, the issues buzzing online, from politics to entertainment and everything in between.
It's Friday, and it's fresh, it's firm. This is Daybreak Live Extra, and we are just getting started. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Samson.
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
You look stunningly beautiful this morning.
Thank you. You look good yourself. There she go. Let me add a bit of Yoruba.
Okay, while we were coming in with the intro and, talking about the gist for today, all the way from UNIZIK in Anambra State, you begin to wonder exactly what is going on there right now. At one point you'll be talking about the authorities in the school. Are they over-exercising what has been bestowed upon them, which is the power to actually do some of the things they do in the school? And of course, are the students also taking this for granted? These are questions we should be asking. Yes, it is not a new thing that when students are done with their, academic calendar, they want to exercise their rights to say, oh, we are done, and then we want to celebrate. But then, when this joy is short-lived and cut short by the school authority, I mean, this is something really interesting, and I think the government is currently looking into this.
Obviously, and I think you're spot on. When I was in secondary school, we did that thing. We did that stuff, coming out, your friends come and sign on your shirt, and then, going to the university, same thing happened. However, if the school institution is saying you are not allowed to do this on campus, I'm guessing they can do that outside of the school, I mean, in a very sane environment. Okay, because the school has said that, they are not allowing it, or they are not going to allow it because it has caused violence in the past, stolen properties and the likes. So I'm not a member of that institution. I've never been there. So I think the school knows better at that point. So one thing about constituted authorities, even if you're not okay with that rule or that regulation, you must follow through.
Right.
If you are still a member of that school and you want to still remain a member. So they don't want to allow the old standing out thing, maybe it has caused some issues in the past. It is their responsibility to safeguard the lives of the student, regardless of, yes, they are going to have fun, and of course they are done. So they can have that celebration, that, intense celebration outside of the school. You can sign on your shirt, that is not within the school. And if you check the video very well, I saw that, at some point, they were even carrying pump action. When I went to the comment section, some managers are saying, is that not too serious? Why carry guns, just to make sure that some students don't sign on their shirt? However, I mean, that is, in the hands of the school authority. And then part of the video that I also like to talk about is, yes, you can stop them from doing that. And even if they violate that law, but then don't handle them in a wrong manner, because we just saw what happened with the core member. Definitely, I was in the shirt of the lady, someone just trying to take it back up. So you can make sure that you can punish them for that, but then don't handle them in a very bad manner, because we don't want replication of issues whereby maybe female students or female core members are being assaulted in any kind. Yes, if they fail to obey the rules and regulations, punish them accordingly. So that's what I feel about this matter.
I think we need to cut down the excessiveness of graduating students, what they do. I think just recently in Ogun State Institute of Technology in Igbesa, something like that happened, and the event was actually hijacked by cult members, which eventually, I think it was the rector of that institution that came on board and said, look, we have to put an end to this. If you want to do this, do it the right way. I will be a part of this with you. I'm going to bring on board security operatives. They will be here. I will also join you. So these will not be hijacked. I think also we lay too more emphasis on graduation ceremonies, which is fine. I mean, if we scale it down a little bit, leave universities and talk about secondary schools and also primary schools, I think some schools are doing too much. When you see how much parents are being milked, all in the name of trying to get some money from parents just because their children are graduating. I saw some pictures in the last session where children that don't even know what is going on, they were wearing gowns, and I was like, oh, where are they graduating to? I mean, should we tell them that they are just getting started?
No,
I mean,
they're going to keep the pictures there, Kai.
Yes, it's fine if you can keep those pictures, but then stop milking parents for this. I mean, I saw some of my friends struggle to pay these fees. Some children, I think about 2 or 3, they are graduating from nursery. I think nursery to, I mean, it's for me, it's annoying because they had to pay, I think, around 30,000-40,000 for a child. Imagine someone who has about 2-3 kids in that particular. How much are they paying as a tuition fee when you have to pay so much for graduation? Where are they graduating to, for crying out loud? It's fine if it is being done in universities, signing on their shirts. I think secondary schools are now also blowing this out of proportion. They are doing way too much.
I watched a video online where
can you imagine that GSS 3 students now graduate to SS1? I mean,
apart
they celebrate.
Now, they took themselves to maybe an eatery or maybe a very fine place, and they were having a nice time. I think things are changing. If you compare to 5 years ago when most persons graduated, just like we said, this age, the new Gen Zs, we have the normal Gen Zs, we now have the new Gen Zs. They are coming up with different styles and the likes. But then at the end of the day, they can just do this in a perfect manner. Speaking of what you said about young children, about 2 to 3 paying, some of them don't even cannot even afford it. So they stay back at home. So maybe it's time to look at that issue whereby, you know, they don't really have to graduate from maybe KG1 to maybe normal primary. So, but then it depends on the schools, because I think that's another way of them making, you know, money to try to, you know, cater for the needs of the students. However, that has been their, you know, justification on that matter from what I've heard so far.
I think we digressed from the status quo because some schools decided to make more money. Because from what I know, late 90s to the millennium, which is 2000, it used to be sweet too. We had fun. It's not like what they are doing now is more fun than what we had then. But the truth of the matter is, I mean, it just baffles me that schools now are now actively involved in. We had valedictory service then, and then it was fun because we enjoyed it. You will be called out to get an award, and you will be happy. Your parents will be there. You will be happy that you are doing fine.
They still do that.
They do that.
Something is objective.
It has been blown out of proportion. And when I look at things happening now, from I think it started from 2010 or thereabout when things just changed, and then you begin to wonder what exactly are you celebrating? You are just getting started, and I'll be asking myself that should we tell these people that they are just getting started? I mean,
I think on the contrary, yes, some children don't even understand what they're doing, but we see some children who are very eager. For instance, when I was younger, when my end of the year parties come in, I don't sleep before morning because I'll keep going back to my dress, my shoes, because they're always new to say, tomorrow they're going to collect in school. Because some of us were excited about the whole thing. Okay, I'm leaving primary to secondary. So then some don't even know what is going on about all of these things. So we really do not have. How do we control this? It still depends on the school authorities because they want to make more money. And then the justification has been that, okay, they want to use that medium to try to cover some other costs in terms of buying it for them and the like. So it still depends on them. And then, of course, I don't think it's by force. If you don't want to pay, no one is going to hold you.
And that's the problem. You know, some children will feel left out. Somehow, there will be complex, like, oh, my parents can't afford this. I mean, it's just like that. But I just feel that going forward, we'll be able to find a common ground as regards this. It is fine to celebrate. It is fine to actually enjoy yourself when you graduate. But the truth is, you have to find a common ground. I mean,
in terms of fun, Samson, you're having more fun. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, I've seen some videos online.
I don't want to argue because I am not there. I had my own session, and then they are having theirs now. So let's just put it that, okay, they are doing fine. Let's go on a quick break. And when we return, we'll take weather report. And of course, news comes after. We'll be back after this time out.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1060. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live Extra right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice, where inspiration meets entertainment. Do well to link up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that channel, drop your comments, and of course, we'll definitely take them on this show. You can also watch us live on our website, www.dominion.org.ng. Now it's time to take weather report this morning, and we head straight to Kano, where temperature feels like 22 degrees Celsius as we speak, and of course it is expected to rise to 25 degrees Celsius later in the morning, and of course 29 degrees Celsius by afternoon, drops back to 25 degrees Celsius in the evening, and overnight it is expected to be around 22 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy in the afternoon, and later partly cloudy in the evening and overnight.
All right, thank you for staying with us. Let's cross over to Kaduna North. And of course, weather is expected to be around 21 degrees Celsius, and in the afternoon, around 26 degrees Celsius. Of course, in the evening, around 23 degrees Celsius. Overnight, around 21 degrees Celsius. And of course, in the morning, cloudy around 9%. In the afternoon, mostly cloudy around 11%. And in the evening, mostly cloudy around 20%. And overnight, cloudy around 16%. That's what we have for Kaduna this morning.
In Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, this morning, temperature feels like 23 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, and of course, later in the morning, it is expected to rise to 25 degrees Celsius. In the afternoon, it is expected to be around 28 degrees Celsius, back to 24 degrees Celsius in the evening, and overnight to be around 23 degrees Celsius. And of course, scattered thunderstorms is expected to be around in the afternoon, and mostly cloudy in the evening and cloudy overnight.
All right, we're not crossing over this time around. This is for Ibadan. And of course, weather feels like 23 degrees Celsius. And of course, in the afternoon, 28 degrees Celsius. In the evening, to come down to 24 degrees Celsius. Overnight, 23 degrees Celsius. And of course, for morning, cloudy around 11%. Afternoon, scattered thunderstorms around 44%. In the evening, mostly cloudy around 24%. And overnight, cloudy around 24%. That's what we have for Ibadan. Do well to prepare for that in case you want to head out or stay back at home.
Now we go to the FCT this morning, the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Our temperature feels like 22 degrees Celsius as we speak, to rise to around 24 degrees Celsius later in the morning. And by afternoon, it is expected to be around 26 degrees Celsius with isolated thunderstorms expected around 33%. And in the evening, it is to drop back to 23 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, around 24%. And overnight, 22 degrees Celsius with showers. 41% chance right there in Abuja. So if you're in Abuja, prepare for that later in the day.
All right, okay, let's enter the plane again and, of course, cross over to Abeokuta. Weather feels like 24 degrees Celsius and, of course, mostly cloudy, 10% in the afternoon, around 29 degrees Celsius. Rain, please take note of that, 71% in the evening, 25 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, around 19%. And overnight, 23 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, around 9%. Do well to prepare for that for the people around that area, Abeokuta, Ogun State.
Right in Port Harcourt, River State this morning, temperature feels like 21 degrees Celsius to rise to 24 degrees Celsius later in the morning. And in the afternoon, it is expected to be around 25 degrees Celsius. In the evening, drops back to 22 degrees Celsius. And overnight, 21 degrees Celsius. So in the morning, there will be a few showers in Port Harcourt and scattered thunderstorms by 94% in the afternoon. Partly cloudy by 18% in the evening, and mostly cloudy, 23% in the overnight. Yeah.
Of course, let's cross over to Ekiti, and of course, weather feels like 21 degrees Celsius this morning, cloudy around 8%. In the afternoon, around 27 degrees Celsius, isolated thunderstorms around 34%. In the evening, 22 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, around 16%. Overnight, 21 degrees Celsius, cloudy, around 23%. Do well to plan for that.
All right, we'll move straight to the Center of Excellence, Lagos State, this morning, as it currently feels like 25 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy in Lagos State this morning. And of course, it is expected to rise by 1 degree Celsius later in the morning, rise to 27 degrees Celsius in the afternoon, and of course, it drops back to 26 degrees Celsius in the evening, and overnight, 25 degrees Celsius. And in the morning, it's expected to be mostly cloudy by 11%, and same in the afternoon, mostly cloudy partly cloudy in the evening, and of course mostly cloudy by 9% later overnight in Lagos State this today.
All right, let's cross over to Osogbo this morning, where it's expected to be around 22 degrees Celsius. Of course, cloudy around 12%. Afternoon, 28 degrees Celsius. Scattered thunderstorms around 58%. In the evening, 24 degrees Celsius. Showers around 39%. And overnight, 22 degrees Celsius and cloudy around 17%. Do well to plan for that in case you're in that area.
Okay, and that wraps up our weather report on this dial this morning. Let's take a quick break, and when we return, we take the news on this dial. We'll be back after this time out.
Ever dreamed of creating the next virus series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class. It's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV. Make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Good morning. This is the break news on Dominion Television. I am Oluwayemi Adelakun. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has approved the sum of 45 million naira for the Oyo State Agency for the Control of AIDS to further curb the spread of HIV/AIDS across the state. Governor Makinde speaking through his deputy, Barrister Adebayo Lawal, at the inauguration ceremony of Oyo State Agency for the Control of AIDS Ambassadors held at the agency's conference room, Agodi, Ibadan. He explained that the funds, alongside the recent approval of the purchase of HIV test kits, are targeted at strengthening agency's capacity to combat the epidemic. In another development, the Oyo State government has disbursed another 200 million naira to property owners affected by the Circular Road project in Ibadan. Commissioner for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Akinfunmilayo Williams, who represented Governor Seyi Makinde, said this fourth round of payment brings total compensation to nearly 1 billion naira. He reaffirmed government's commitment to easing the impact of the project on affected residents. Beneficiaries applauded the gesture, describing it as a restoration of hope. Following the victory of the People's Democratic Party in the just concluded by-elections in Ibadan, many believed it is a shift of power and dominance of People's Democratic Party over the All Progressives Congress in Ibadan and Oyo State at large. Some Ibadan residents said these in a chat with Dominion News, stating that the victory came as a result of the perceived fracture in the All Progressives Congress ahead of the by-election, while some questioned the relevance of the masses and the political decision of the state. Recall that the chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Shina Pella, declared his party's recent by-election victory in Oyo State as a blueprint for the new system of leadership Nigerians are yearning for. The proposed salary increase for President Bola Tinubu, Vice President Kashim Shettima, and other top government officials has sparked widespread criticism among residents of Oyo State. Speaking with Dominion News correspondent, some residents emphasized the need for transparency and proper timing in government decisions, especially those involving in public funds. Many have questioned the rationale behind the move, insisting that national priorities should focus on economic recovery and social welfare rather than increasing benefit for politicians. recover the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission's Chairman Mohammed Sheus at a press conference in Abuja proposed an increment in the salary of President Bola Tinubu, Vice President Kashim Shettima, among other top officials. The Academic Staff Union of Universities has fought the approval of licenses for new private universities by the federal government. The union, while recalling the recent 7-year moratorium announced by the government, questioned the rationale behind the new licenses if access to university education in the country was not a problem. While commending the government for the moratorium placed on the establishment of the new universities, Academic Staff Union of Universities said the issue had long been advocated. It said the government should have taken its advice and put a hold on establishing new universities. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund has disclosed plans to discontinue the disbursement of upkeep loans during school holidays. Apart from loans disbursed directly to institutions, beneficiaries of the student loan scheme enjoy a monthly disbursement of 20,000 naira. Nigerian Education Loan Fund, in a statement signed by its Director of Corporate Communications, Oseyemi Oluwatoyi, noted that upkeep loans will henceforth be strictly tied to the academic session of each institution. The Edo State government has intensified its sweeping campaign against courtesan, criminal gangs and ritual practices. It has sealed multiple properties linked to suspected court leaders following the discovery of a shrine in Egbain community and a violent confrontation in Eveboyere that claimed a life. The coordinated operation, codenamed Operation Flush Out Cultists and Kidnappers, was led by the squad's coordinator, Idemudia Noah, in collaboration with allied security agencies. Acting on intelligence reports, operatives stormed a residence in Egbain, Egor local government area, in the early hours of Wednesday, August 20, 2025. Though the building was unoccupied, a search uncovered a secluded shrine at the rear of the premises. Inside, officers found a white casket and fetish items believed to have been used for initiation, rituals, and other clandestine activities. In business, the federal government has announced the offering of 200 billion naira in bonds subscription for auction in August 2025. A circular posted on the Debt Management Office's website noted that the exercise will hold on August 25, 2025, with settlement fixed for Wednesday, August 27, 2025. According to the Debt Management Office, the bond issuance was carried out in compliance with the Debt Management Office Establishment Act 2003 and the Local Loans Register Stock and Securities Act CAPL 17 laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004. The offer comprises 2 bonds, 100 billion naira, FGN July 2030, a 5-year tenor reopening, and 100 billion naira, 17.9, 5% FGN June 2032, a 7-year tenor reopening. In sports, Liberian goalkeeper Derek Julu has joined Nigeria Premier Football League Ikorodu City. Julu put pen to paper on 2-year contract with Ikorodu City. The Oga Boys announced the short-stopper's arrival on their Facebook page. Ikorodu City have also announced the signing of the trio of Ukechukwu Onyemachi, Taiwo, Alao and Rashid Owolabi. The 3 players were signed from Ijebu United, Sporting Lagos and Inter Lagos respectively. The Lagos club will be away to Kwara United in their first game of the 2025-26 MPFL in Ilorin on Sunday. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to listen to us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across the social media platforms Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast and X at Dominion Cast. That ends Daybreak News. I am Oluwayemi Adelakun saying thank you for watching and good morning.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice. Ever dreamed of creating the next virus series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class. It's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV. Make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. This is Newspaper Headlines Analysis. My name is Luayemi Adela, and of course I'm not alone in the studio this morning. I have with me Leko Shobowale, who is a journalist and a public affairs analyst. Welcome on board.
Good morning, Yemi. How are you?
I'm very well. Let's start from Nigerian Tribune. I have this headline that says PDP crisis marking the talks tough. When people go low or go into the gutters, I don't go with them. It says, expresses readiness to reach out to the aggrieved as Southern leaders kick their own Lagos zoning meeting. Party not dead. We offer better option in 2027, says Governor Dewey and others. NEC meets on Monday to adopt zoning committee report. It appears that the old G5 thing had crumbled, in my own opinion, because these people used to be very close and cordial. But it appears that, the governor of Oyo State now, Seyi Makinde, is saying when people want to go low, you don't have to go low with them. And then I think it borders on the issue of zoning and this NEC meeting that will come up in Ibadan next week Monday. And he also said the party is not dead, while on the contrary, a lot of Nigerians feel like, PDP can no longer or does not have what it takes to take over from the APC come 2027. So the issue of, it appears is now between Seyi Makinde and Wike. What do you make of this tussle between both of them, and what is the consequence of this, for the party?
Well, I'm of the opinion that the party is not dead yet. You cannot say PDP is there with almost 7 governors. At least the party is still very much alive. With almost 30 National Assembly members, the party is alive. But it's just that the party is currently sleeping. They are even snoring. You understand? And it is not the usual of Seyi Makinde and Wike. It is the usual of the whole PDP. I said this last week that when we heard that they inaugurated the Soni committee, one now wondered that what will be the essence of the Soni committee? In 2023, you put in place the Soni committee, which zoned the presidential ticket to the north, or even they said, okay, anybody can contest. At the end of the day, Atiku Abubakar got the ticket, and Atiku Abubakar is from the north. So now they are also talking about Soni again. What are you Soni? Everybody knows that, it is the time for a southern president. So there is no need of inaugurating any Soni committee. Or let it just go to the south. By the time you are talking about Soni, you are saying that it can go to the south and to the north. And that is, they got it wrong there. And, second is that you cannot underemphasize the role of former governor of Rivers State, now a minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike. Wike, when nobody was there, Wike was there for PDP. So Wike has been part and parcel, a major integral part of PDP. And the G5 governors, they are still together. It's only Governor Seyi Makinde that is no longer, part of them because of what is going on. And I think for me, Wike is having the party national secretary with him. As a matter of fact, we have the acting national chairman and we have the national secretary. Damagu is the acting national chairman. In fact, the most important of the ESCO, of the National Executive Council as of today, is the secretary. That's Senator Anyanwu. And Wike is currently having Senator Anyanwu with him. So that means, look at what happened yesterday. Two factions of PDP, that of Governor Seyi Makinde and Governor Diri, they met in Lagos. They are talking about zoning. And you are talking about, you said PDP Southern Consultative Forum or something like that. You don't have representatives from Imo State, Rivers State, Abia State, virtually the South Eastern states, even the South. Because at another meeting held by the other faction, we have the minority leader, Honorable Chinda, at that meeting. So even the governor Seyi Makinde led a group. They only have few people from the Southwest. The majority were not invited. So how do you? And Governor Seyi Makinde yesterday was talking about PDP. How will PDP survive in this? PDP is just like going from fry pan to fire. One would have expected, okay, you are talking about having your elective convention in Ibadan, in your state, by November. What kind of convention do you want to have in Ibadan when you are not having your national secretary, when almost all the southern states, members of the PDP, are with Governor Wike, former Governor Wike? And the minister has said he's not even aware of any elective convention coming up in Ibadan in November. So I think it's important for PDP, whatever that it costs them, for them to have, the PDP is not dead. PDP is alive, but the way they are going, come 2027, I don't pray that will be the end of the PDP. But if care is not taken, that may mark the end of the PDP, especially in the south.
Don't you think Wike is playing a major role here? Because looking at the permutations, he might not contest again because he has declared his support for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu severally. Definitely. And Atiku is also out of the way. So don't you think things should get easier now because Atiku is no longer part?
Wike?
No, for the whole party in terms of zoning, because one of the major reasons that led to the issue in 2023 towards the build-up to the election was still the same issue of zoning. And that was why Wike said, I worked for the opposition, and he was bold about that. So now that Atiku is out, and of course, Wike might not even contest it.
Sure.
Because let's also talk about the fact that there was a time that Dino Melaye said Wike was begging him to help him beg Atiku so he can be the vice president. So why is Wike still a problem in this matter?
Yes. Wike, Wike is not contesting. That is very sure. And one thing I've been saying, I just said it a few minutes ago that the issue of, there is no need for the issue of, constituting a zoning committee. It is like I said the other time, rotational presidency in Nigeria is an unwritten constitution of political parties as we have it in Nigeria. You talk of APC, you talk of PDP. It is, it's unwritten. It is not in their constitution, but everybody knows that 8 years of North, 8 years of the South. So we had 8 years of late President Muhammadu Buhari. Now we should be having 8 years of the South now. It is not important if he's not going to be President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027 to 2021, but it is important that it should be, we should be having the Southern president till 2031. This is not the case of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but is the issue of the South that allow the South to complete its 8 years presidency. That's what we are saying. So, Wike is not contesting in 2027. Wike is supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and he has made it clear that he will be standing with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But I think the problem in PDP, is man-made, it's self-made problem. PDP is creating issues for itself. One will have just, Makinde used to be a close ally of former Governor Wike. Whatever that might have happened in between them, they are both of them, they are adults. It is something that, aside from Seyi Makinde, we have former Governor Fayose as part of the G5 team, even though, he was former governor. But Fayose still have the hairs of Governor Seyi Makinde. Fayose still talks to Governor Seyi Makinde. It would have been easier for Seyi Makinde to at least solicit, the assistance of former Governor Fayose to help talk to Wike. This is just, I don't see any issue in this now. It is not the case of, it is clear that, both Governor Seyi Makinde and FCT Minister, they supported President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2023. They supported him. So, what is now the problem? No. So, what is now the difference? The issue now is that, it's because of the rumored presidential ambition of Governor Seyi Makinde. I think which, Governor Wike decided not to support that.
But she has debunked that several times that he's not interested.
Yes, a politician will debunk. But, it is so evident that Governor Seyi Makinde may likely, contest for Nigeria president come 2027 on the platform of PDP, because there are hands written on the wall. We can see posters, we can see, so many aides of Governor Seyi Makinde talking about it. At least we interact with them every day. We talk to them every day. They tell us that the governor may likely contest. Wike is a politician of notes, so he understands every bit of body language of Governor Seyi Makinde. But, whether Governor Seyi Makinde is contesting or not, he said it yesterday. Let us have a party first before talking about 2027 ambition. So I think PDP should, by now, plan to have a party before talking about 2027 presidency.
We'll look out for all that to play out. Let's talk about Osun State now. I have an headline that is saying we will get our local government back That's coming from Adeleke. Rallies PDP members for 2026 election. There's been this intense battle between APC Osun and then PDP Osun. Just recently, APC came out to say that why would the governor leave his duties in Nigeria and travel outside of the country to go and celebrate with his with his nephew and his wedding? And of course, PDP saying, is it even possible that I will now travel 1 month to the wedding when he's not even the groom? So I would love you to help me make sense of these. And also, Adeleke is saying we take over, we'll take back, what belongs to us from Federal. So what do you think he's referring to, in terms of Federal, really?
Well, there are many problems in Osun State as speak. I think 2 weeks ago it was reported that Governor Adeleke and his nephew Davido paid July salary of Osun State workers from their pockets. From political issues to economic issues. As we speak, the federal government had decided not to release the local government funds allocation to Osun State government. At first, I think they paid like a month or 2 months to the ousted local government chairman of APC, during the administration of former Governor Gboyega Oyetola. But I'm not too sure if they are still doing that now. But what I can confirm as I speak is that the federal government has seized the local government allocation to Osun State.
Because there are no people on ground, so why should they receive the allocation?
You said?
Because they are saying that there are no people on ground, so why should they disburse the allocation?
No, yes. We have elected local government chairman in Osun State. But the problem is that the local government chairman that, former Governor Gboyega Oyetola conducted local government election early 2022. I think early 2022, early 2021, before he lost the governorship election. And, former Governor Gboyega Oyetola, it's a usual practice, except only in Oyo State. Of course, Governor Makinde has done so well, in conducting local government election, as it should be. But when Governor Gboyega Oyetola was going, he left the local government chairman. Governor Adeleke inherited APC local government chairman. He sacked them within a year. And local government chairman also have spent 3 years. But he sacked them less than a year. So they went to court, Supreme Court, they won. And Supreme Court said the Supreme Court said Governor Adeleke must reinstate the ousted local government chairman. But Adeleke refused. And within 2-3 weeks, Adeleke conducted another local government election, and the PDP chairman, local government, took over then. But, the federal government is saying it is wrong. Because of this, the federal government believe, because the APC local government chairman, they are no longer on ground. They have been chased out of the local government. Even though, as we speak, some are claiming that we have, maybe few of the APC local government chairman manning local governments in Osun State. But Governor Adeleke is not recognizing those chairmen. So the federal government is saying that allow the local government chairman to return to their duty post. We will release local government allocation, which Governor Adeleke is not yet yielding to. And that is where the problem is now. So you understand? Okay. So, there is nothing wrong if Governor Adeleke, traveled to the United States, to attend his nephew wedding ceremony. I don't think there is nothing wrong there. And I'm also aware that, according to Malam Rashid Olawale, who happens to be the spokesperson of Governor Mola Adeleke, said Governor Mola Adeleke will also use that trip to meet with investors, businessmen, that he will come down to Osun State to come and invest. And I think that's a very good development for Osun. So it doesn't
APC really saying, how is he going to attract investors in a bar with lunch? I don't know if you saw the picture online that circulated
beating
the drum.
Yes, yeah, I saw it. No, it doesn't really matter, Like we used to say, all work cannot play. Make Jack a dull boy, Their governors are imams like us, We all take our time to relax, to enjoy ourselves, pleasure and all those stuff. So, but the fact that Adeleke was seen beating drum. That does not mean he cannot. You don't expect him to be meeting with investors from 8 in the morning to 10 p.m. in the night. There are times. There are times for all things that we do. Sure, you understand? So, you can be seen doing anything. You've seen governors playing football. Those and all those stuff. Like 4 days ago, we saw Governor Yebanji playing Okmayo with some residents of Ekiti State. So are you now saying that it will be wrong for him to be doing that? No. So for the fact we saw him playing, beating drums or any other thing, the most important thing is that, are we getting results for the said meeting with the investors in the United States? Are the investors really coming to Osun State to invest? Those are the things that we should be discussing.
All right, away from that, let's also talk about this headline that says, why I won't be in supremacy battle with any Oba. That's coming from the Alaafin of Oyo. Before now, I'm sure you must have seen stories about this whole, you are not supposed to confer. And I read, thank you so much, I read the reports that say even the person that received that title is saying the title of Okolomo of Odua was conferred on me. However, I think reports surrounding the Alaafin say you cannot confer a title that borders on the entire Yoruba land, which are two different things. And it appears that the spokespersons are not making this matter. They have found a way to worsen the situation because of the comment, and also the comment from some other monarchs across the country. Why are we having this issue when this matter can be settled amicably? Okolomo of Odua is different from Okolomo of Yoruba land. And the Oni, within his right, within his power, can confer the title of Okolomo Odua on anybody. Definitely. So why are we having this issue?
It's so embarrassing, for both, both Alaafin and Ooni of Ife are well-respected monarchs in Nigeria, not only in the Southwest. So for them to now be having issues, because, Moses Olafare, the spokesperson of Ooni of Ife, came out 4 days ago and said Ooni will be conferring the title of Okolomo of Yoruba land on Dotun Sanusi. He said Okolomo of Yoruba land on Dotun Sanusi. And when you look at the trend of this chieftaincy title, what you have in Ile-Ife is Odua. We have Keshinta Adebutu, Odoje of Odua. We have Chief Toyin Kolade, Iyalaje of Odua. We have one woman in Lagos State, something Odua. That's what we used to have. And in Oyo Kingdom, we used to have Yoruba land. We have Aare Ona Kakanfo for Yoruba land, Alaafin. These are our brother, Wasiu Ayinde, Mayegun of Yoruba land, Alaafin. So when you are now talking of, you want to convert Okolomo of Yoruba land, there will always be, slight issues. But I don't think this is important because Okolomo of Odua is just an honorary title. It is not a very serious title. It is not. It is just a title for the boys. Like they used to say.
Honorary title. Honorary
title. So I don't think this should have caused any. But the truth of the matter is that historically, Ooni of Ife and Alaafin of Oyo has always been at loggerheads. Time immemorial, since 1937. The last time Ooni and Alaafin met was in 1937. That was Adesoji Aderemi. And I cannot remember the Alaafin now. It was this President Ooni of Ife, Adeyeye Ogunwusi, that broke that genes when he came to Oyo in 2016 or thereabouts and met with Alaafin, Lamidi Adeyemi. You understand? Imagine 1937 to 2016. So the rivalry has always been, so thick and heavy. So it is not. I don't want to believe that it is not about the confinement of
there's an underlying
Okolomo of Yoruba land. These have been, peacefully sorted out. It's just a matter of placing a call. Alaafin Owade and Ooni of Ife, they met at the summit recently. They greeted and they exchanged banters and pleasantries, and we all saw it. So what has now changed? Because Oni wanted to install the Dotun Sanusi, who is from Oyo State, as Okonlomo of Yoruba land. It's just a call that, Your Majesty, don't let us do that though. Leave Yoruba land stuff for me, and I'm leaving that of Odua for you. Sure, you understand? So, but talking about those, their media aids, it is not even
Yes.
it is not even the issue of media aids. Media aids, is doing what they're supposed to do. It
But
is
there
their
was a
responsibility.
miscommunication there.
Yes, how will I, we are professionals in this field, so we understand this scheme. Most of these spokesperson, most of them, they are not always trained
Properly.
media people. You understand? You can just go and fact check. I know on your spokesperson, Olafari. I know him, and he's a senior colleague and a brother. But that of Alafin, Mr. Druja, I don't know. But the bottom line is that monarchs, you talked about people that are supporting the two sides.
Yes.
We have Ibadan Mogajis supporting Oni of Ife. We have Orile Legbon, Olugbon of Orile Legbon supporting Oni of Ife. And yesterday morning we saw some groups supporting Alafin. I think this is not important. What is important is that Yoruba land must be developed. And sincerely yours, Oni of Ife is currently doing greater things across the Yoruba land.
And historically, I think his power even extends outside of Ife.
See, I'm not even talking about the power now. I'm talking about development-related issues.
Okay.
What our monarch should be discussing now is how can we develop Yoruba land. And to the best of my knowledge, that is what Oni of Ife is currently doing. In Ibadan, we have Ojaja something. In Ado-Ekiti, we have Ojaja. Oni of Ife has, in the last few months, has invested in maybe like 3 or 4 states of the southwest. I know that of Ibadan, I know that of Ado-Ekiti, I know that of Akure. You understand?
Okay.
It's creating job, establishing, investment and all those stuff. So,
Deji.
these are what I'm expecting a monarch to be doing, and not to be fighting because of Okonlomo of Yoruba land, Okonlomo of Odua. It is not right.
Okay, one of the spokesperson also made a claim to say, a dead, empire.
Yes, Olafare said Oyo kingdom is a dead empire.
What do you make of that?
That should not be so. That is an assault on not only on Oyo kingdom,
The entire Yoruba land.
entire Yoruba race. You don't call. How can you refer to Olafare is someone I know. Is someone that I respected so much because he's a journalist. So I don't. When I heard it, I think yesterday, I was so surprised that Egbon, a dead empire. You don't say that. You are the position you are occupying today. You are occupying that position because you are a Yoruba man. So you are there to protect the integrity and the dignity of Yoruba land. So for you now to have called Oyo Kingdom a well-respected kingdom, not only in the southwest, not only in Nigeria, even outside Nigeria, for you to have called such a dead kingdom, it is so sad. I don't know what you guys are dragging, but whatever you are dragging, I know you want to do your job, but the Mr. Duejaye, the Alafin spokesperson, I've been talking about history, has been, I've been citing historical perspectives, talking about the supremacy of Alafin.
Speaking of that supremacy, sorry to cut you. The Alafin said, I'm not going to battle supremacy with anyone. He now took us back to the time of the colonizers to say the British conferred supremacy on him. Nigerians are now asking, do you need to take us back to the era of colonialism to consolidate your power?
That's what we are talking about. We are speaking Yoruba, and you are telling us about British colonial era. What is that? That should not even be. Who installed you as Alafin of Oyo? You see, it is just that, I appreciate the fact that, most of our monarchs in Yoruba land these days, they are much more younger than the ones that we used to have,
And very learned.
You understand? So, but one will now be surprised again, when you want to justify your position and you are now referring to the British empire, you know, British recognize you as, do we need that? So, see, it boils down, I'm a journalist, I'm a media consultant to so many people, politicians and the likes. We should learn how to advise our principals. You know, the problem is that most of our colleagues, most of our senior colleagues, I don't know the reason. You know, I don't want to believe it will be because of monetary gains. You know, we should learn how to advise and counsel our principals on the right way to go. Even if someone advises you to call Oyo Kingdom a dead empire, sir, don't let us do that. I do that most of the time when I'm, you know, consulting for some of my clients. You know, when I talk with some of these politicians, okay, don't let us do it that way. You know, let us do it this way. Let us do it this way. They may disagree at first instance, but they go back, they sit down and think over it and say, okay, Shobo, let's go ahead with your. So, you know, you should not be, you know, over serious, you know, when we are dealing with all these people.
Okay.
Let us guide them accordingly. Dead empire, your Majesty, sir. Don't let us. We are all Yoruba sons and daughters. Don't let us use the word dead empire. There are better words that we can use that will still mean the same thing that we want to say. But that dead empire is not too good. And, you know, I will just advise that, just like the Olugbo will go that ki àwọn Yorùbá kó jẹ́ kí ogun sinmi. We don't need all these because, you know, there was a time I was with Oluwo of Iwo Kingdom. Yes, Oluwo of Iwo. And the man said, see, a year after your enthronement as a king, there are battles, you know, that you have no choice than to fight those battles. So, you know, jokingly, I was telling someone yesterday, you know, Alaafin Owade is just coming in, you know, less than a year. Maybe Alaafin is fighting those battles already that he needs to fight, okay, you know, in order to assert himself as Alaafin for your kingdom. But we, just like God, don't let us go down to gutter. Don't let us fight like pigs. We
can meet at the
You know, we can always meet in the middle and resolve our issues. The most important thing, as far as I'm a Yoruba man, as far as I'm concerned, let us talk about the development of Yoruba land. That is the most important thing.
Yes. If the colonizers are not around to divide us again, why are we causing divide amongst ourselves? Empire. All right. Before we go, let's talk about ASUU. There's an headline here that says ASUU threatens first strike, rejects federal government loan scheme, mobilizes members for rallies across universities next week. When I read the report, you know, in full, you know, I read that, you know, the president or the federal government is approving more private universities, you know, which is, you know, very detrimental, I mean, to the federal ones, because even said there are some schools in the northern part of the country where we have less than 1,000 students and, you know, they are spending a lot, you know, it's a waste of the federal government resources. So I'm asking the question, these private universities are more expensive. The federal ones are, you know, less expensive. What is going on, really?
You know, thank God, you know, the federal government 2 weeks ago has stopped further establishment of private university. But, you know, one thing that I've discovered is that most of our politicians, you know, they have bought this license signed by the president. So I saw one yesterday, I don't want to mention names. That university is being owned by a former chief of staff to the president. You understand? You know, they have already purchased this form, signed by the president. So there is nothing anybody can do about it. You know, what I can do advise is that still the federal government and ASUU should come together on the round table and resolve whatever differences that might be. All
right, a big thanks to you. Unfortunately, we cannot continue. We need to stop here. Thank you, Lekon Shobowale, a journalist and public affairs analyst, for joining us this morning. This is where we say our BY on this segment. My name is Oluwayemi Adelako. I'm saying good morning. Please stay with us. Big story. We come up soon.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
All right, welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live Extra right here on Dominion Television. Good morning and welcome to the big story on Daybreak Live. Of course, today we spotlight a young woman who embodies more than just a crown. She's a beauty, brains and boldness combined. Our guest is Oluwapelumi Victoria Babajide, popularly known as Queen Victoria, a Nigerian beauty queen, runway model, podcaster and media personality. Of course, thank you for joining us. Samson Balogun is my name. Crowned Miss Southwest Nigeria in 2019 and later honored as the official red carpet queen international in 2021, Queen Victoria has continued to build an inspiring career that cuts across modeling, fashion, and media. She has worked for some of the biggest fashion platforms, including Lagos Fashion Week, Music Fashion Runway, and Africa Fashion Week Nigeria, representing not just style, but also elegance with a purpose. But beyond the glitter of pageantry and the spotlight of fashion shows, Queen Victoria has carved a niche for herself as a voice for lifestyle empowerment, self-care, and mental health wellness. Through her platform, Victoria Serene, on YouTube, she speaks to young people about living intentionally, nurturing inner peace, and embracing confidence. Today, we take a closer look at her journey, her influence, and the woman behind the title. Good morning once again. Samson Balogun is my name. I have with me in the studio, Queen Victoria.
Hi, good morning.
Good to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Okay, who is Queen Victoria exactly?
Okay, so Queen Victoria is an international model, a YouTuber, an actress, and an ex-beauty queen who is passionate about inspiring people through lifestyle and self-care.
Okay, how did your journey into acting, pageantry, modeling, how did it all start?
My journey into pageantry started 2019 when I was in school,
Okay.
through a friend who forced me because of my height and was like, okay, I should just give it a try. And the first pageantry I did was Miss Southwest Nigeria, of which I won. And since then I was like, okay, fine, I can do this. And I studied mass communication in school, so it made it easy for me to like maneuver through the pageantry, the runway model, and the YouTube content I'm currently doing.
Okay, you also, you're an actress, you are into movie production. So how do you combine all this together?
I've been acting since when I was in GSS 3.
I was about to ask
it's-
that. Okay.
So it's been easy. Yes, I would say easy.
Okay, when we talk about acting, some parents really do not actually give into that. They really do not want their children to go into anything that has to do with art. They believe, you know, there are some other things you could do at that time. So how did you persuade or probably convince them to be in this industry?
I would say last born opportunity
Okay.
and being a good girl.
All right.
Yes, it made it easy for my parents to agree with whatever I want to do. The only thing they do is pray for me, and every time, be careful, don't do this, don't do that. Even though I do some,
Okay.
that is not known to them.
So what does it feel like to be the winner of Miss Southwest Nigeria in 2019?
It felt great being my first time. It felt really great and challenging because being my first time, I had a lot of projects to cover and I had to meet with some of my mentors in the pageant industry to guide me through. And so it was easy for me when I wanted to do the projects for the official Red Carpet Queen in 2021.
Okay, you have worked for major fashion shows like Lagos Fashion Week, Music Fashion Runway, and Africa Fashion Week Nigeria. Which of these experiences challenged you the most?
Lagos Fashion Week Nigeria.
And why?
It's a big stage.
Okay, totally different from what you were used to at the time.
Exactly.
So how did you feel being on that runway at the time?
I felt great because I was opportuned to open the show
Okay.
for a particular brand. So it felt, I was anxious at first. I was anxious, but then I did it as usual. I would always do it.
Yeah, modeling is glamorous.
Yeah.
So many people in your field, they say that, but can be also challenging. So what are the challenges you have faced and how have you navigated your way out of those challenges?
Modeling is not an easy journey. It's quite difficult. And when I say difficult, the challenges I've faced mostly is the type of outfits.
Okay.
You know, as a model, you don't have a choice. You cannot pick, this is what I want to wear, this is what I don't want to wear when it comes to shows. Because sometimes you don't get to know the outfit you're wearing.
It has been designed already.
Exactly, until that very day, so you don't have a choice. But then I get to like adapt, I get to adjust with it.
Okay. Now, when we talk about other things you do, podcasting, you're also into media. You have a channel where you speak about mental health.
Yeah.
You advise young ladies to... What brought about this idea?
Modeling brought about it because I'm this kind of lady that sometimes I don't feel confident in myself, and I'm like, there are other girls out there who also feel that way. Why not let me just do something? Let me show them how they can get over it. And you know, I have a lot of aspiring models that wants to work with me, and through my YouTube channel, I've been able to at least help.
Okay, as someone with followership on social media, how do you balance the pressure of public expectation with staying true to yourself?
I'll just say being authentic from the beginning would help you a lot.
Okay, being
Even-
authentic.
yes.
So how do you stay authentic as this person?
I just be myself, be who I want to be. Even if people feel like, oh, you're more than this, no. I tend to like make sure I make them know that this is exactly who I am. I am not below, I am not above. Okay. This is exactly who I am. So you don't see me outside and then you expect more. And if you expect more from me, then I start to fake it and it doesn't work for me.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you talk about faking it, we've got so many people in the industry where they're actually not there, but then they try to make it look like they are there. And you roll with these people on a daily basis. How do you feel when you're around them? Don't they challenge you to actually do what you don't want to do?
It actually doesn't help them.
Okay.
in the sense that if I do like just 2 jobs and then you go for 4, 5 and you don't get paid, I get paid and I get to spend money while you get to live the fake life without having money to spend.
We're still going back to, you know, fake life in the industry. So
Okay.
many people talk about this. Oftentimes, we see not just modeling, not just acting in the theater practitioner. We have seen it play out in so many other areas. Where so many people tend to project themselves as who they are not. And isn't that damaging to their personality in the long run? When people finally find out that, oh, this person is not actually who he or she thinks or says he is.
It's actually about, it's not actually about people. It's actually about yourself. If people find out, they'll be like, oh, that's who she is, that's not who she is. That's left to people. But yourself, you won't be able to deal with it at the end of the day. It will be like a lot of work for you. Okay, now you want to act like I have it all.
Okay.
And you get to borrow. What if they stop borrowing you this, they stop borrowing that? How will you live up to it? Then that's how most ladies get into depression.
Okay, now, how do you personally practice self-care and maintain mental wellness amidst such a busy schedule that you have?
I tend to create time for myself.
Okay.
I create enough time for myself because if I don't create time for myself and I just feel like, okay, let me just go for this and I'm not mentally okay to like do it, it doesn't help.
So you sometimes turn down some jobs.
Exactly,
Like you want to have some
exactly. And sometimes I tend to work on myself. I work on myself before going for any job. If I know that, okay, I'm not fit enough for this, I don't do it.
Some say there are bureaucracies in so many industries, including yours.
There are what?
That you have to, bureaucracy. If you want to get something, you have to know someone that knows someone. Probably you need a job, you have to know someone that also connects you with someone. What does it look like in your own industry?
It's everywhere. But in my own industry, I would say it's better to be under a modeling agency to get more jobs for runways.
Okay.
Because most of these organizers would like to deal with agencies. Yes, they don't like to deal with models on their own because they truly don't know who the model is. So the agency can say, oh, she's calm, she's somebody you can work with. So without agency, is like 50-50 to get jobs.
Okay. Are you also into mentorship for young girls who also want to be runway queens, who also want to be in your field, what you do particularly? Do you also mentor people?
Okay,
because
so
I have seen people in your field who also have a clique of girls that they mentor.
So like you said earlier, knowing people matters too.
Okay.
So most of the girls I have, I train them in my own way and link them up with agencies.
Okay.
So that's basically what I do. I'll just train them a little and then prepare them ahead so you don't get to the agency and then start acting like a newbie. At least you have an idea of what you do. So that's basically what I do. I train them and then put them in agencies.
Now, you won, you were a Beauty Queen 2021. How did that shape your career? Did that actually open more doors for you as a person?
Yeah, it did, and it has not only helped me to grow as a model, it helps me grow as a person too.
Okay.
Like the official red carpet queen I did is basically for hosting shows, and so I had opportunities of hosting some red carpets and all of that. So it has really helped me a lot.
So what are the biggest misconceptions people have about beauty queens?
They feel like people that win now, you need to have connection before you can win, and it doesn't work that way.
Okay, fashion often merges with culture. How do you think Nigerian fashion is influencing the global scene right now?
I would say Nigerian fashion, we're really trying. The designers are really doing great by going back to what we were before, bringing it back to life, reshaping it. So Nigerian fashion is really doing great.
Okay, now let's talk about the African culture and what you do. Where do they meet? Does it match? Does it have any synchronization whatsoever?
It does. African culture, it does. African culture, at least respect is under African culture.
Okay.
Your outfits. So if I get to go to another country, I get to wear our own outfits, and you know they get to like it and be like, oh, where did you get this from? Oh, this is from my country. This is what we do in our country. Yes.
Okay. Now, when you talk about ideas, you started with something and then graduated to something else, decided to do this, do that, which actually has made you feel like a lady with too many caps, or so many caps, let me put it that way, because I know you probably still have some other things in mind you want to do. How do you gather these ideas in your mind? I mean, before you execute them, do you sometimes imagine them? Do you sometimes model yourself around someone and say, look, what you do, I want to do too?
I model myself in front of the mirror, and I'm this kind of person, I like to be alone. So most times that I'm alone, I get to journal, I get to unwind, and I get to surf the internet as well for ideas and that, yes.
You mentioned that you started this in school. The person who introduced you into modeling, is she a model too?
No.
No.
The person is actually a guy, it's not a model.
Okay.
Yes, and in school, the person was in a different school, and I was in a different school. We just met like, oh, let's be friends. And from being friends, he has some model friends, which he introduced me to.
Okay, now let's talk about your academic background. From secondary school to university level, you had other dreams, and then later in the day, you decided to choose modeling.
That's true, but it's still in line.
Still
You know, I said I studied mass communication in school. I've always admired to be a radio presenter and a TV host. So they see her line, yes.
But it's still in the pipeline and you still intend to do it.
Definitely.
So in the next 5 years, do you see yourself in the broadcast industry fully?
Maybe.
Or you think it's a retirement plan for you?
Let's just say it's a retirement plan for me.
You plan to
because
come back
I still
after
need to work on myself, yes.
So combining this with podcasting that you do, how challenging has it been? Has there ever been a time where one challenges the other?
Yes, I've had challenges since I started the podcast. I actually thought it was something very easy.
Okay.
But trust me, it's not that easy. So I've had challenges, but then I get people around me that helps as well.
Now, let's talk about memorable moments that you have had on this job and feedbacks you have actually gotten while on this job. How proud are you on the job as you are? And of course, what are the feedbacks you have actually gotten? Sometimes, you know, you get feedbacks and some are positive, you are really happy about them. And sometimes you get some feedbacks and you're like, oh, I probably need to work on one or two things.
I've had a lot of positive feedbacks.
Okay.
I think my height helps me a lot. So during the Lagos Fashion Week, a particular person, let me say a particular celebrity, I actually saw myself on his page saying, this girl is very good. And since then, I've vowed to always work on myself and improve.
Okay. So if you could design a nationwide campaign on wellness for young Nigerians, what would it be centered on?
If I could... Sorry, come again.
If you could design a nationwide campaign on wellness for young Nigerians, young ladies out there, what would you focus on particularly?
Self-care, basically. Self-care.
And why did you choose that, of all the things you do?
Because we really need to take care of ourselves as ladies, even as gents as well. And I'm more particular about models. If you don't take care of yourself, you don't get jobs. If you don't take care of your skin, you don't get jobs. So taking care of yourself should be like the first thing, like that should be like a priority.
Yeah, as a follow-up to a question I asked earlier, as a young lady in the modeling industry, you are also a theater practitioner. How do you deal with criticisms? They come often on this job. So how do you deal with it as a person?
I deal with it close. Like I tend to cry close. I tend to cry to my mirror, and from there I would just brace up and do what I have to do.
So outside pageantry, what has been your greatest achievement that you feel proud of today? Like, oh, at least while on this job, I have achieved this.
My greatest achievement right now is helping an aspiring model get international gig.
Get a gig.
Yes.
How that makes you feel proud?
I feel very proud.
So
yes.
Subsequently, you still intend to actually draw more aspiring models into the agency. Do you plan to have your own agency in the future? The reason I'm saying that is because we have seen football coaches eventually when they retire, or probably players, they venture into some other aspect of the job. Like a player say, oh, I want to have an academy. So do you intend to also do that?
Let's just say I intend to help models. I really don't intend to like own an agency. I just want to help. I don't need to be out there saying, oh, this is the person. Even those that have helped, I tend to tell them, you don't have to mention my name. Just go and do whatever you have to do. So I don't think I want to own an agency.
So far, what has been your guiding principle? What has guided you so far on the job?
Just be yourself. Just do you. That is it. Just be yourself. Do you. Raise your head high.
Okay, if you could advise young models out there on what to do and how to pursue their career, what would that be?
I would say no matter the age, you can start now because it doesn't have a perfect time. It's when you decide to start that is the perfect time for you to start. It doesn't matter the age.
Okay, it is really nice to have you on this show.
Thank
and
you
we do hope that next time that you are here, there will be a lot to talk about.
Definitely.
Queen Victoria, thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Right. Now, and that brings us to the end of today's big story on Daybreak Live Extra. Our conversation with Queen Victoria Babajide reminds us that true beauty goes beyond appearances. It is about impact, purpose, and the courage to use one's platform for good. From the runway to podcasting, and from pageantry to advocacy, she continues to prove that she is indeed more than a beauty queen. Stay tuned to Dominion Television for more inspiring conversations. I'm Samson Balogun, and thank you for joining us. Keep it locked on this dial. Trend Watch continues after this.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before, book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Alright, welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live Extra right here on Dominion Television. Of course, thank God it's Friday. This is the Friday edition of the show. You can link up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can link up with us too. Watch us live on our YouTube channel at Dominion Broadcast. Do well to subscribe to that channel Also join us on our website, www.dominion.org.ng, dominion.org.ng. Now it's time for Trend Watch on this, that where we'll take you through happenings on social media and around the world. Yemi Adelakun is still with me.
I'm glad to be back here. Well done, Samson.
Interesting. Okay, there's an interesting story right here of the Minister of State for Labour, Dr. Nkiruka Onyejocha, who cried out, you know, just yesterday that, look, I don't even want to have an office. I mean, is that something we should be saying on papers?
Yeah, really, I think the media has changed, you know, drastically when it comes to, you know, stories that make the news. And I believe she wants to reach some certain persons. That's why, you know, she's coming out to say this out loud. You know, we can look at it from the point of, okay, why are you telling us? It doesn't concern me. I have my own concerns. When I checked the comment section, I was laughing out loud. I could not contain my laughter because, you know, people have different issues. However, let's look at it from another angle. You know, sometimes where you are not properly seated in your office, sometimes, you know, it affects your productivity. You know, having that office to say, okay, when I get to my organization, I have a place where I can sit, you know, to think, to work without any disturbance. So that's an angle. Okay, maybe she's crying out because she has not been able to do that properly, and it will affect her productivity. Even though Nigerians are saying, what have you been doing, you know, ever since you've, you know, occupied a position? However, okay, maybe if she gets an office, we can begin to now, you know, ask for, you know, okay, what are you really doing? Can we really see what you're producing? You see, so maybe with what she has said now, I'm very sure they will get her an office, because that's one thing about Nigeria. Once you speak up about a matter, they work on it. Even if they are not planning to work on it, they work on it. You know, exactly. Look at what happened with Rai. NYC core members were not expecting that they will start collecting 77. When she spoke out, you know, a few weeks later. And NYC, they are celebrating her online. So about this now, she has come out to say, I don't have an office. Trust me, this is Nigeria. Other people too who do not have an office, they will also come out to say, if this woman can come out to speak, I also do not have an office. That's when they say Nigerians, we beat, when it comes to trend in Nigeria, we overflog it. You know, and I celebrate Nigerians for that, honestly.
Now, let's take the story, actually. It says Nigeria's Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Dr. Nkiruka Onyejocha, has revealed that she currently does not have an office space of her own to work from. Speaking on Thursday, Onyejocha lamented the accommodation challenge within the ministry, disclosing that even a temporary workspace has been taken over by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Aviation. This is Ministry of Labour and Employment, and right now, even the Minister of State doesn't have an office. The place I am staying currently, the Permanent Secretary of Aviation, has been allocated that space. Where do I go to? She asked. And of course, she further explained that although plans were made for her to move to the 7th floor of the ministry building, the offices there are far from completion and may not be ready for use in the coming months. Onyejocha therefore stressed that urgent need to complete the ongoing renovation of the National Directorate of Employment, NDE building, which she described as the only hope for housing officials currently without offices. I believe we must put all our energy into finishing the NDA building with the speed of light, so that those who do not have an office will just come in here and be able to do their work. That's what she said.
It's the speed of light for me. And just like I said, look out for it. Within a few weeks or few months, she's going to get an office. And I also like the fact that she was able to extend her grace to other people who are also facing the same issues. To say, apart from me, we still have other persons. Apart from her, you know, most of these MDA, some of them, you know, they have to share, you know, an office together. Even in university, sometimes when I go to visit some lecturers, you see that there's one person here, another angle, there's one person. Why? Because of lack of facilities.
Sometimes they partition the office with plywood.
Definitely. So it becomes an issue for a student. Maybe you want to see a lecturer for something else, and you know that these two people, they are together. The other will always have something to say to maybe compound your issue for you. So it's one of the things that we need to look at. You know, these people, let them get an office so that they can work perfectly. So if after they get an office and they are not doing what they're supposed to do, that's when Nigerians can come in to say, at the Funil office, what's going on? Can we really see what you're doing? So really, that's the
the problem I have with this particular issue is the fact that, you know, there was a minister in that space before she came on board. Where was that person's office? Where was he or she staying? Let me put it that way. And then if that person also does not have an office, what was that person looking at for 4 years?
And didn't speak up.
And didn't speak up. you know, these are the things, these are the anomalies that you really should be, you know, addressed by the government. If you have given someone an employment, or probably you have given that person an appointment, that person needs all the necessary tools. All hands must be on deck, and that includes an office, and of course probably an official car to address issues that concerns that particular MDA, ministry, or parastatal, regardless of what you want to call it. But the truth is, you find out that in Nigeria, sometimes you have given someone a job to do, but there are no tools. Just like you have told a person to go to the farm, and you have no hoe, no cutlass, no tractor. So there's nothing to do on the farm other than to just be there. So people will blame these people for not doing their job. Nigerians will blame them for not doing their job. But of course, there are challenges they are facing that oftentimes they don't discuss. But it's beyond just going there and getting your salary. It's about the legacy you are leaving when leaving the office. What did you do? People ask that question. And take, for example, you are in the future, you decide to, you know, pursue your career in politics, and people then ask you questions. As a minister, what did you do while you were in the office? And then will your response as a person, I'm just talking about Dr. Nkiruka right now, will our response be, oh, then I did not have an office, that's where I did not perform, I could not do my job effectively?
Now that excuse might not be tenable.
Might not be tenable. So I still feel like she's saying the right thing right now, coming out to say, look, I don't have an office, but then you can do makeshift office spaces. You can work from anywhere, actually, though it might not be convenient, but at least you'll be able to do your job. But the concern I have is files. We are still in the era in Nigeria where we still go about, you know, sending files from one office to the other. We are still doing most of the job. 70% of what you see in those ministries are manual. So they are still carrying files. So there's no way she can work successfully without having an office.
Okay, the former person that ever position. Okay, is it that the person did not have an office? See, sometimes when there's a change of, you know, executives or office holders, you know, the fastest person can hijack that place without, you know, before that new person comes in. It happens. These things happen. So I just feel like she's been able to reach our target audience. I mean, the political class who are in charge of, you know, tackling this issue and make sure that, you know, they complete the place. You know, she said few months. She's hoping that they will complete the place in few months, because Nigerians really don't care. Talk about the issue of you want to increase the salary of President Tinubu. Nigerians are saying, you know, we don't care. We need money in the country, circulate the, I mean,
you know, no matter how much you want your hand,
exactly.
Let me just be okay.
Let me be okay. So this particular issue, it doesn't concern Nigerians, but there's a particular set of persons that it concerns. And I'm very sure they've heard it loud and clear.
The message has been passed.
Obviously, honestly. That's the way I say this matter.
I do hope that the government will look into this and maybe Definitely. Address it going
You'll be shocked.
Forward.
Yeah. This is Nigeria.
Of course, with this, it will be addressed with the speed of light.
Definitely.
Because some of these things really do not have to be in the news. But then when someone, I guess she was frustrated to an extent that she had to say things like, look, there is so much pressure, but I don't even want to have an office to work from. Though some people might think she's trying to actually portray the government in a different light, but then I don't think that is true, because I feel like she was frustrated to an extent that she had to voice out. And one of the reasons this could actually happen is when some ministries that were originally merged, let's say, for example, culture and tourism, and then at the point they now became Ministry of Culture and another Ministry of Tourism, then automatically they are going to need separate spaces. So they need more spaces for these things. So if that is happen, labor and employment, what will happen when labor stays alone and then employment stays alone? So these are things that do happen, and sometimes a president will come and say, oh, these two ministries can stay together, and then they come together. Look at Ministry of Agriculture, and then you still have Ministry of Livestock. I think that's what we have in Nigeria now. So there are two different ministries, but usually they used to be one ministry. So when these things happen, then a minister for livestock will have an office. Minister for agriculture will also have an office. So it means they need more offices. But these things are not prepared for. So I think going forward, before some announcements are made, preparation for people who are coming into those spaces has to be made. Okay,
I think you're spot on. Another thing is that, you know, she has exposed herself successfully to Nigerians, because most Nigerians might not know her or the position that she's holding.
They don't even know she's
so the implication now is that they are standing by, just like our directors we say, let her just get an office and not work properly. Because there was a time that, you know, Nigerians didn't know who our Minister of Interior was. until, you know, something. So when you speak up like this, you know, you give yourself that popularity. She's become more popular. And of course, Nigerians are looking out for her to say, Madam, you will get
Actually, it
is
is more important to get popular by doings, what you do, I mean, with your performance, than, you know, when you come to the news and say, make us some complaints. So there are two different things. Now, she has, Olumuyitunde Ojo that we were talking about, performed, and people started saying what he was doing, and then it became popular. So in his own way, if he stops doing anything now, people will not complain that much because they had already seen something in him. But for her now, she will be under pressure to actually deliver.
Definitely, that's what Nigerians will do, honestly. So
let's take some
well.
You wish we were what?
I wish I were, honestly, because there are several ways to blow in this country, whether by scandal, you know, controversies, or maybe by working perfectly what you need to do. And she's been able to.
Oftentimes, the first two actually, you know, takes the day.
You sound like an expert on this matter. Okay.
Okay, we take some comments, and of course, Najo White says, "What are you people doing in that ministry? How many employments have you created before crying for office?"
It's the war cry for me, just like what we are seeing. A lot of Nigerians are not even aware of her position or who she is, so it's up to her. Another comment from Ezekwesiri saying, "Now small challenge for this government now. Then if you budget like 4 billion, you play too much in this country."
But honestly, he was trying to say what he thinks. Sometimes, you know, we overprice some of the things we do, and sometimes we over budget. Let me put it that way. You spend so much money on things that really do not matter to the people, and then people will ask questions. I was talking to someone yesterday and said, look at how much was budgeted for renovation of the government house. Look at how much that would have done to the fire service department in Oyo State. A building was being burned down by fire. There was a fire inferno somewhere around Challenge, a particular popular building right there. And then look at the fire station very close to that place. It's in shambles. So imagine just 50 million naira, what it would do to that facility. But then we have decided to shift our attention to something that really, Oyo State people really do not care. But then these things happen often in Nigeria.
Okay, speaking about renovation, I think there are some projects that when you look at those projects, even you can tell that, no, we need to fix this. Just like that airport, you know, that when you see the picture online, it looked like a war zone. Honestly, nothing compared to what we see even in African countries. Let's not even cross over to the Western countries around the world. So some of these projects are things that we really should work on. But then, speaking about the money, the budget, because government will say, you know, there's inflation, you know, the prices of goods have gone up. So that's why we don't want to buy inferior products, I mean, to work on this renovation. So these are the areas that we should look at. Can we actually work on these things? Definitely. But how much are we pouring into those areas?
And at what cost to Nigerians?
And at what cost to Nigerians?
Okay, we'll take another comment. Kenchuk says, "Madam, if you complain to me, who will I complain to? Please, I have more important issues to attend to.
This fellow.
My pregnant goat is about to deliver, and I need to be around." I mean, that is why you see Nigerians, they trivialize things.
Honestly.
Though it pains them, but they just want to get away.
Doesn't take us serious sometimes. Imagine your pregnant goat. This person is just a comedian. I mean, more like her. And then, you know, that's why I say the comment section is the best place to be. When I say
that's where you get therapy.
That's where
it's
I go first.
Therapeutic to be in the comment
Even
section.
from that comment section, I also learn, because there are learned people in this country. You'll be shocked. Because some people will say, you see Twitter people, they are accidental learners. I don't agree with that sometimes. Sometimes I learn on Twitter. Absolutely. You see people with good historical, you know, backgrounds, they'll come and break down issues for you. So honestly, I think, but sometimes we realize this matter, really.
And then there is another comment. Osimi Mash says, where was the former minister's office? Where did she take this picture and have the interview? Irresponsible people everywhere. I mean, that is too. That's way too harsh.
Honestly,
I think you know, people have the right to actually come out and complain, and then we do not have the right to actually bully them on social media. So there's a space and there's a thin line between respect and disrespect. So once you get that right, I mean, we always get along well.
That's why we say you can hear your grievances, but there's a better
not bully
way to
the person
do it.
or abuse
Honestly,
them.
there's a better way to do it, because Yoruba people will say Orotutu. Complete it for me. Orotutu, like, you know, soft words as a way of, you know, making the person calm, and then, you know, you get results.
They say Oroman Yobilapo.
God bless you.
So
all right.
I've not had your Orotutu before.
Oh, maybe I coined that. All right, let's check another comment that is saying, coming from Mr. Babatunde Asefon, someone should let her know that she doesn't need an office space to be productive. I disagree with this, you know, really. Even if it's not your own personal office. There must be a space where you
Space
can
where you
actually
work
see
from.
where you want to do serious, work. So I really think they should allow her get an
I mean,
office.
even some Nigerians who actually, some into tech, some into properties, they use shared spaces.
Yeah.
Not to talk of a minister. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not.
If you see
that's not
young
true.
entrepreneurs these days, when you check their office
They don't work
space,
from
you'll
home.
be- you'll be wow,
They
like,
actually
wow.
get their spaces to actually work because they need a serene environment where they can think. Because some of these times people think it is, it is actually easy to achieve some things.
Yeah.
But then if you get into it, you realize the fact that you actually need a space. You need, the time, and of course you need the environment to actually think the right way to achieve the things.
Definitely.
You achieve, yeah.
There's a popular scholar that would say your environment has a way of influencing you, because there's no what we can talk about you now because of the kind of environment that you have lived before.
Yeah.
So your environment will definitely influence you. If you're in a serene environment, creativity becomes easier. But if you're in a very loud environment, even you'll be tired of the whole situation. So I think I disagree with that person. She needs an
just
office
like you
space.
said, environmental influence is key in development.
Definitely,
I mean,
definitely.
if you find yourself in an environment where it affects your thinking, it affects your development, you see that play out in your day-to-day activities. And of course, the minister actually needs an office to do
Definitely,
that job.
definitely. All right.
I think there is one more comment, and
Okay.
it says, "Whose chair do you sit on right now inside this?"
Nigeria.
I mean, Nigerians will always have something to
All
say.
these Twitter journalists.
Investigative journalist on Twitter.
Definitely,
All right, thank you
definitely.
for being a part of the show so far. It has been a wonderful session on Daybreak Live Extra right here on Dominion Television. The last edition for the week. Of course, do well to join us again on Monday for another interesting edition of Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice where inspiration meets entertainment. Yes, today is Friday, and as you go out and of course are close for the day to enjoy your weekend, please enjoy minimalist, as I do say on Friday. Samson Balogun is my name. Until Monday, keep being good, keep being safe, and keep being nice. Bye for now.
All right, thank you for being a part of the program. Do well to join us next week, same time, 7 a.m. to 9 o'clock. And of course, we promise to bring you more interesting stories. Before I go, it's weekend, just like you said, but then you can still plan for the coming week, because when preparation meets opportunity, it becomes a miracle. My name is Oluwayemi Adelao. I'm saying good morning.